Choosing a happy new man.
Yes.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Dreamer's Way to Fulfillment podcast. This is episode 1. I am super excited about this podcast. Y'all, I've been wanting to do it for a very long time now, and so I am very, very nervous. Whenever I start doing something for the first time, I'm always extremely nervous. Like even right now, like my hands are kind of, like getting a little sweaty. That's probably TMI, but it's the truth because that's what happens with me when I get really nervous. But I'm also super excited as well because of all that we're going to be exploring in the Dreamer's Way to Fulfillment. And so for this episode, I just want to talk to you a little bit about myself and about what type of topics that we're going to be going through in this show as well. All right. And so before anything else, my name is Yasmin Brown. I am the founder of Dreamers Worldwide. I am the author of Love Answers to a New Beginning. I am a mompreneur and I am your goals sister. And so I've been like achieving goals, like big goals that I set out for myself for as long as I can remember, from when I started at 10 years old at a nacho stand on up into, me buying my first car when I was in high school, going to college when I had less than a 2.0 GPA. That's a whole story that we're going to get into at some point. And, landing my dream job, like getting married at the time that I wanted to, and all of the love that came with that, and then starting multiple different businesses, and now the one with the ministry Dreamers Worldwide. And so I've always been about setting big goals and going after it no matter what to achieve it. But it hasn't always been easy. Like what I've learned is like there is a process in between setting a goal and achieving it. And starting from when I was like 10 years old, I didn't even know that that's what I was doing. All I knew was that when I made up my mind to do something, I did it no matter what. I did it no matter what it cost me, no matter how it made me feel, no matter, who I lost or who I gained. Like I just, when I made up my mind to do something, I did it. And as I continue to grow and develop, I realize now that it's all about that made up mind, and it's all about being willing to journey through the process. And we can't do that without God. Right? And so Dreamers Worldwide, like that's what it is. It's a Christ-centered women's organization where we are choosing to go after big goals, but we are doing it God's way. And even the name Dreamers, DREAMERS, that is an acronym, okay? And the name represents different women that we call in Dreamers Worldwide our Hall of Honor that we learn from. We learn from these women and many different trainings and programs and courses that I have developed over the years that has been a blessing to thousands of women from all over the world. They stem from like the biblical principles and foundations, but also, from us learning from these Hall of Honor. And so I'm going to go through them a little bit with you because it's also going to be, we're going to be talking about here in the Dreamer's Way to Fulfillment. And so D is for Deborah. Deborah was a judge. And so and she also led a army, right? And even still to this day, like that is something that women don't usually do, but she did that. She also held a position that was like unheard of for women in her time as well. But she had that boldness, she had that strength, she had that courage, she had that leadership, right? And that's what we learned from her in Dreamers Worldwide. And then R is for Rahab. Rahab was a prostitute, okay? But she saw an opportunity. She grabbed hold of that opportunity. She took it, and as a result, she not only saved herself, but she also saved her family as well. And what we learned from her is that your past ain't got nothing to do with right now. Like, your past, it does not determine your now and your future. When we are blessed with opportunities to be better than the day before, to be better than whatever we went through, like to be able to advance to higher levels, to our happy new things, like we should have the courage and the boldness in order to do so. And that's what we learned from Rahab. Like, she did not allow anything that anybody said about her to define her. Like, she did her thing, and as a result, like, she made a difference in her life and the lives of others as well. And then E is for Esther. Esther, we look at her because she was very bold and courageous, and she was beautiful. Like, she used her status and her beauty to be able to save her people as well. And she was very afraid at first. Like, whenever we are striving to achieve big goals that is going to take us to a new level, because we do not know what that next level is going to look like, it is scary. Like, the unknown is very scary. And so there is a level of fear that we experience, right? And so what she teaches us is that we are to push past that fear. And she did it through her and the people that she loved, fasting. Like, she went to God on that, and had God to like and had God to give her the strength and the courage and the strategy that she needed in order to go and do something that could have killed her. Like, her going to the king, like, could have killed her, but she decided to go to God on it. And with that, God strengthened her. He gave her the courage, he gave her the strategy, and she was able to not only save herself but also her people as well. And so we learned that from her. And then A is for Abigail. Abigail was a decision maker, okay? Like, she was quick on her feet. And that's the thing, whenever I think about Abigail, I think about that made up mind that I was sharing with you about before, that, God blessed me to develop at a young age, and I had no idea at all. But that's what she had. Like, she made up her mind that the decisions of her husband was not going to affect her and her household. And so, like, and not only did she act quickly, so she was very decisive. Not only that, but she was encouraging, she was motivational, she was influential as well. And so as a result, for her, she saved herself and her family, and then she also became a queen to King David, which in that time, like, that was the ultimate goal for any woman. And so then Mary is the mother of Christ. And when we look at her as someone who has a level of obedience that is like, whatever you say, Lord, do it unto me. Like, for us to get to that space where we are wholeheartedly devoted to doing life God's way, and being in full trust and faith in him, that he is, Romans 8:28, working all things out for our good. Like, that's what we learned from Mary. And to use the favor that God has given us. Like, we are all favored by God because God loves all of us. And the Bible tells us in Jeremiah 29:11 that he has thoughts and plans that he thinks towards us, and that he has towards us to prosper us and not to harm us, but to give us a hope and a future. Like, that's what God's heart is for us. He wants to prosper us. He wants to give us good things. And then John 10:10, where Christ is saying that I have come so that they may have life and have it to the full. The NIV version, life more abundantly, the King James version, and then a rich and satisfying life, the New Living Translation. This is what God wants for us. Like, this is why Jesus died on the the cross and rose again for us on the third day. It's because he wants us to live our life to the full, a beautiful, amazing, rich, and satisfying life more abundantly. And so Mary decided to move by faith and take hold of the favor that she has by God. And as a result, we are all benefiting from her yes still to this day, right? And so that's what we learn how to be bold and strong and courageous in the favor that God gives us, and to give him our yes. Whatever you say that you want to do, Daddy Father, let it be done to me. Right? And so then E is for Elizabeth. Elizabeth represents, she represents so much, because it took her a long time. She was in her old age. Her and her husband was in their old age when they had their first child, but she remained faithful, and she remained hopeful. She continued to trust God. And that's important for us, because some of us will get to the point where we feel like it's too late. I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I'm X years old, and so it's way past my time. And let me tell you, I have women in my organization who are between the ages of 40 and 60. I even had one woman who was a part of my organization, now 70 years old. And these women, they started their businesses, they're going back to school. The woman who was about 70 years old, she was going back to get her master's because of something that happened with her son, with the legal system. And so she was like, no, not on my watch. As long as I am here, I'm going to do my best to be able to help other people who are like how my son was. And she is about to graduate with her master's, and and she's doing some things for law. And so it's never too late. And that's what we learned from Elizabeth. We learned that that bold faith, where no matter where we are in life, as long as I can still see it, as long as I still have breath in my body, then I can move forward and continue on with whatever my dreams, goals, aspirations is, until I achieve them, right? And so we learned that from Elizabeth, but we also learned from her sisterhood. And so when Mary came to visit Elizabeth, the Bible says that the baby in Mary's belly made the baby in Elizabeth's belly jump, right? And so we know that the baby in Mary's stomach was Jesus Christ, and the baby in Elizabeth's belly was John the Baptist. And so what's so beautiful about that is that that's what we should be doing as sisters, helping our sister know, man, what you have inside of you is powerful. It is amazing. It's going what God is calling for you to do is going to make such a big difference, whether it is in your home or through your product or services, through your community outreach, and you're in the corporate world, whatever your goals and things are. The point of sisterhood is for us to encourage each other, to love on each other, to let each other know, man, what you got going on is amazing. But it's also what was beautiful about that passage of the Bible is that just like Mary encouraged, just like Elizabeth encouraged Mary by letting her know how, what she has inside of her is powerful, right? Mary was also an inspiration to Elizabeth as well, by making her baby jump. You know what I'm saying? Because what she had in her is man, I need to go out here and do some incredible things too. I need to get back on, my goals, my visions, the things that I had put on my vision board to do, the things that I had said that I was going to do. I don't care if it was a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. To have people in your life, to have women in your life that will make that jump, that will give you that, man, I can do it. like that's that sisterhood, and that's what Elizabeth represent for us, and that's what we focus a lot on in Dreamers Worldwide. And so then, all right, so Dreamer. R is for Ruth. Now, Ruth, I mean, I love all of our Hall of Honors, but Ruth is one of my faves because this woman was so loyal to Naomi, her mother-in-law, but she also, like, she represents another level of sisterhood with loyalty. Like, she told Naomi, like, let your God be my God. Where you go, I go. She said, if you die, I'll bury me next to you. Like, this was her level of loyalty to Naomi, and that's so beautiful, and it's so rare today with relationships between woman and woman, like that loyalty, that stick togetherness, and that willingness to lift each other up as we're climbing. And Ruth represented that so much with her relationship with Naomi. And not only that, like, in the Bible, I believe, now I cannot say this for sure, but I believe that she was the one woman, who was called a woman of noble character. Like, the only other time we hear about a woman of noble character is the Proverbs 31 woman, and it talks about her being a wife of noble character. But Ruth, like, they're calling her a woman of noble character, and it was because of her loyalty. It was because of her faithfulness. It was because of her humbleness. It was because of her willingness to not stay where she was, because this was a time when in the Bible where they were going through famines, and so and she had lost her husband, she had lost her father-in-law, her sister-in-law had left because of, like, she had lost her husband, and so she just had so much going on. She had every reason to give up, but she didn't. Like, she moved forward, and she moved forward with her sister, with Naomi, and it was just so beautiful and amazing. And y'all know she got her Boaz. So everybody always talk about that Boaz. She got her Boaz because of what? It wasn't because like she was out here looking for him or nothing. No, it was because she was being who she is. She was being who she was. It was her character as being a woman of noble character that attracted that good man, that Boaz that we're always talking about, right? And so we learn so much from Ruth. And then S is the last letter, Sarah, that was Abraham's wife. And I love her too, because, like, she had, like, that no matter what type of faith. Like, God told her and Abraham that he would be a father of many nations, and this man was super old. Sarah was past childbearing age, and it just did not look like that was going to happen. But she believed so much. She believed so much what God said. And that's why in the Bible, she is called, like, they consider her to be faithful. Like, whenever you hear in the Bible and they're talking about Sarah, they consider her to be faithful. Even though, like, she gave her she gave her I forget the name that she is called, the mistress. Like, she gave Hagar, I'll just say her name. She gave Hagar over to Abraham, and he had a baby with her. It was a whole little thing. But she did that because she believed God so much that she was like, man, maybe it's not supposed to be with me. Maybe you're not supposed to have a baby with me. Maybe it's supposed to be, with somebody else. And it wasn't because, like, she lacked faith. It was because of how much she had faith. But we also learned from her not to take matters into our own hands, because, and I've done this many times, and I've talked to so many women who have done this as well, where when we have a vision for ourselves and we have a goal or something that we strive to do, and then we set out to do it, and we do it in our own might, and at our own will. Like, God gave us the vision, but then we decided we want to figure out how to do it on our own. And then the next thing you know, it's all type of craziness that's going on. I mean, like, all type of stuff is cutting up with finances, with relationships, with situations and circumstances, and it's all because it's not because we didn't believe. We did believe, but we decided to do it the way that we want to do it instead of the way that God has called for us to do it. And then also actively waiting. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a fruit of the spirit. Patience is actively waiting. Where it's not that you're doing nothing, but you are doing things that's in alignment with what it is that God has told you to do, while also waiting for his next instruction as well. And so we learned that from Sarah as well, about having that bold faith, but also choosing to trust God and do it his way, when he give us the plans and the desires and things like that. Because the desires that we have in our heart, God placed them there. And the Bible tells us, for those who delight in God, he gives us the desires of our heart. And I'm telling you, he always lets us know how to go about doing the things that we need to do in order to not only achieve our goals, because that's another thing about Dreamers Worldwide. It's not just about the success. I 100% believe, based on the hundreds of women that I have been blessed to coach, mentor, or advise. I've been blessed to connect thousands of passionate, positive, like-minded women together from all over the world. But for me to actually have like those one-on-one experiences has been hundreds of women that I've coached, mentored, helped, and advised. And so what I have learned is that success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And the reason why is because what you're gonna blame? Your depression, your overwhelmness, your anxiety. Like, what you gonna blame it on if you have achieved all of your goals? Like, you have if it was family goals, you have the family dynamic. If it was like health and weight loss goals, whatever, you've achieved that. Whether it is business goals, financial goals, and whatever, and you achieved it, you have achieved your goals. You have accumulated some great success within your life. If that is the case, but yet you still find yourself going to sleep at night, drained, sad, depressed, feeling levels of emptiness, and waking up and doing the same thing, and then going to bed the same way, then what can you blame that on? And the reason why so many, because it's been so many women who, especially women who are very successful financially and even with different family dynamics, is that they have these great levels of success, but they have no idea why they are feeling so sad and so depressed, so like having so many different levels of anxiety and taking different prescriptions and all these other different things like that. Well, it's because of two different things, okay? So the first is because you were journeying through, or at least let me talk about myself, because I've done this plenty of times, and I've had to learn the hard way that success without fulfillment, like, it literally is the ultimate failure. And so for me, it was because as I was like going hard and being so laser focused on whatever it is that I needed to do, or it was in order that I needed to do in order to achieve my goal, I was lacking self-love and I was lacking self-care. Like, I was not doing what I needed to do for me. And so if I didn't have to get cute, then I didn't get cute. Like, if I had to sacrifice time with God and doing my morning routines and stuff like that, then I would. Or even if I had one, because there was times when I was going after it and I didn't have morning routines where I gave God my first hour or 2 hours before I did absolutely anything else. And or like getting massages or whatever it was that would help me to feel good about me and keep my mind where it's calm and it's in a space where I can be creative, where I can celebrate the milestones that I was achieving while I was journeying to achieving whatever my big goal was. And so by the time I get there, by the time it's achieved, for one, I'm drained and I'm bitter in some type of ways. I'm frustrated and all these other different emotions that comes along with like getting to a place where you're just pouring from an empty cup, where there's nothing coming out but your cup is tilted, right? And so that's one of the reasons, is because of lacking self-love and self-care while you're journeying to achieving any goal. Like I just want to be clear about one thing, is that when we are going to sacrifice something in order to achieve our goals, don't let it be your good things. Don't let it be the things that you do that builds up your self-love. And self-love and self-care is different. I'm not going to go into that in this video. That's why you need to keep coming to the Dreamer's Way to Fulfillment, because we're going to be going deep on all those different things. But when don't sacrifice your self-love activities and the things that you do to keep your cup full and overflowing. Don't sacrifice your self-care routines and the things that you do that opens you up to receiving self-love. Like, if you're gonna sacrifice something, sacrifice those toxic habits that puts us in a space where we have to do one thing multiple times because like we're not all there, or because we are given into distractions and all those other different things that forms toxic habits that prevents us from doing what we say we're going to do and do it well. Don't sacrifice your good things. Like, the whole point of setting any goal is so that we can experience true fulfillment. And that is the second reason why we achieve success but lack fulfillment, is because of fulfillment itself. And that only comes from God. Like John 10:10, it says that the enemy comes only to steal and to kill and to destroy. The key word, like you would think that it's kill and steal and destroy, but actually the key word is only. And that is in every translation of the Bible, is that the enemy comes only. The only objective of the enemy is to steal from you and to kill from you and to destroy what the enemy has stolen and killed, right? Well, once we get to a space of, once he gets to a place where he has destroyed those good things that he has stolen and killed in your life, that's when we get to those spaces of hopelessness. That's when we get to those spaces of stagnant, complacent, and all of those other seasons in our life where none of us want to be in, right? That's the only goal and purpose of the enemy. That's something else we're going to be going deeper into as we journey through the Dreamer's Way to Fulfillment. But that's not all of John 10:10. Christ says, "But I have come so that they may have life and have it to the full." The NIV version. Life more abundantly. The King James version. Life to a rich and satisfying life. A rich and satisfying life, which is the New Living Translation. I'm going to say that again. And so Christ says that I have come so that they may have life and have it to the full, the NIV version. Life more abundantly, the King James version. And then a rich and satisfying life, the New Living Translation. And why do I always make sure that I say all three translations? It's so that we can know that Christ wants us to live a full, rich, and satisfying life more abundantly, right? And so with us understanding that Christ, in order for us to be able to live our life to the full, Christ had to die. Like, he had to go through so much and sacrificed so much for us to be able to have life to the full and then rise again to glory on the third day, right? So that the only way that we can really get to fulfillment is through him. It's through him. That is so important, right? And so we're going to be focusing on that and so much more. We're going to be talking about boundaries. We're going to be talking about like how to navigate through your process, because that little line in between start and achievement, or next level, or like dream, achieve, whatever that is for you that you want to get to, like that little line right there be cutting up. It's so much that goes on here that blocks us from getting here and keeps us playing around in that middle, or taking us back to that starting point or further away from us getting to where we want to be in life. And we're not doing that no more. We're not doing that. We're going to learn from our Hall of Honors and choose the dreamer's way to fulfillment. Okay? And so make sure that you like, that you comment, and that you subscribe, okay? And then make sure you also turn on your notifications, that little bell, turn that thing on so that you can know when we drop our episodes, so that you can be the first to see it. Share as well, because like we all have women in our lives, and even men too. Like I have men that follow us as well, because like the principles and the values that we learn here, like it can be applied for to anyone's life, right? God has just blessed me with the women's ministry, but anybody can benefit from it. And so share, and I'll be seeing you in the next episode. I love you. I celebrate you, and I lift you up as I climb. Mwah. See you again soon. Bye.